Welcome to Winning the Game of Life. Known as Jungleman at the poker table, Dan Cates has gone from being the bag boy at McDonald's with no friends and a dead-end future to winning over $11 million in online poker, over $7 million in live tournaments, and is a World Series of Poker champion. He has found fame, fortune, been to incredible places all over the globe, and connected with some amazing people. It looks like Dan has won the game of life, but that is not the way he sees it. Dan sees winning as doing his part to help everyone in the world win. He knows he can't do it alone, though. He knows it's going to take a collective effort with anyone that wants to see the same thing. Join us each week as Dan starts the conversation to do just that. On the show, Dan will interview incredible individuals that have made the impossible possible, those that have won the game of life, and those that want to help others win as well. Hit subscribe and follow Dan's journey on Instagram at @TheDanCates. Let's explore anyone and anything that can help make this world a better place, increasing the odds of us all winning the game of life. And now, here's your host, Dan Cates. Welcome back for part 2 of this conversation. If you haven't checked out part 1, be sure to check it out.
What else would you say is some of the most important traits for a poker player to be successful? I mean, not just actually when playing poker, but in terms of like managing themselves, that kind of thing. Because you probably have I imagine you have lots of life experience, and you've also seen different sides of people with all the poker business you've done, and you've seen how poker's evolved over the last decade. And longer, since 2009 or 2000, even before that, actually. So what do you think?
Yeah, I can talk from my own experience. So this is at least what happened to me, and I think this happens to quite a few players, that once you get into poker, it takes certain period of time that you will look at poker as a card game. What do I have? What's the flop? How do you play? Building a strategy. So you learn to you have to practice this game, to play this game, just to understand the game. So you understand all the, what hands to play, what hands not to play, what is the kind of average hand in every situation, and so on. So I think it goes that the first year of playing, it's really, really focusing to the mastering the game, the strategy behind. But then things are going to change a lot. Mm-hmm. Then what's going to happen is that now you know how to play, and it becomes a game that's, well, when you're playing, you're performing. And now this comes all these challenges that you have to learn. You have to learn exactly how to manage yourself. And there's just, I think life is already pretty complex thing for people to have balance regarding whatever you do in how you are living life. But what poker will teach you is that you will get to know yourself. That's just my view of things. So you get to know yourself because you're going to make a lot of mistakes. You're going to see that how you react in different situations. You're literally winning or losing every day when you're playing. So there's always, if you are an emotional person, there's always emotions. When you're winning, you're feeling like this. When you're losing, you lost, you're feeling like this. So what happened with me is that I started to win a lot and very quickly. And I was playing also like crazy amount of hours, like 12 hours a day for maybe 6 years straight in my earlier career. And I was analyzing a lot, but you really get to know yourself deep inside. And why? Because you're gonna play it becomes a game that you know how to play. You have all the skill to play, but now you have to give yourself the best possibility to play your best. So you have to kind of do everything outside of poker properly, so you can really focus and play your best. It's not on the earliest levels when people. Now it's more about if you go to the lowest limits, like some $100, $200 buy-ins. It doesn't really apply to those games so much when it's just as long as you just play like any kind of decent fundamental poker, you're okay. But then if you go a little bit higher on the level, you learn just that if you lose your focus for some particular reason, for just 2 minutes, something comes, and the next thing you know that you're not fully in the present moment, and you made a bad bluff, or you made a call that you couldn't see your opponent's state of mind, that he was not going to bluff you in that spot, for example, or you missed some hand from previously. So you're just going to pay a lot of money for a lot of mistakes, like, for example, playing hand when you're on the phone or online. Like I used to be on the phone, and then I looked like, how is it possible? Every time I lose when I'm on the phone for 10 minutes and suddenly I've lost 50K or so on. Or there's a lot of things you can do, obviously. Like there's just a lot of things that can, what you're going to learn about yourself, that how you're feeling. Obviously, like if you sleep good, and you do some exercising and you're eating well, all these things are gonna make you more like feeling good and being alert and focusing on the game. But basically, yeah, it's you don't have a coach. There's nobody to tell you what to play, when to quit. Yeah. Nobody's gonna know your skill except you. So you really have to go deep inside of yourself and be truly honest with yourself. You have to, only you will know that how do you win and how do you lose. Like you can go 2 months period when you played bad, but you won, or you can have a 2 months period when you played amazing, but you lost a lot. And you have to understand that the results are not always the coming based on your performance and so on. And it's a very tough. As a poker player, you're in a tough spot. Like there's nobody really who's gonna do those things to you. Only you can know what are your strengths, weaknesses, and how you're going to manage yourself, and how many times you're going to experience something that is hurting you that until you really change your behavior. Like a lot of people, for example, I mean, they're on their cell phones. Cell phones, when they're playing, this is the new thing that people don't have any attention. They have no focus. They cannot just look at when other players play and be on their kind of, zone in this way. They're missing a lot of information. So they're on their phones all the time. What happens if
you're like giving me feedback because I'm like on my phone all the fucking time, unless it's a really big game. But
everybody's different. This is just obvious things that obviously is better if you would watch how they play and so on.
Yeah.
But you gotta know yourself. Like it might not bother you. You might be able to just look around all the time and pay attention when it really matters and so on. And also like regarding relationships, you might have a girlfriend that, I don't know, she's bothering you, texting you about some stuff, whatever it is, that gets some kind of attention of your emotions or anything like that. And you're in a poker game and suddenly there comes some other things, emotional things that shouldn't come while you're playing for big money. But some people are okay with that. Some people are not. It shakes their state of mind of of playing, because at the end of the day, like poker is really, it's all about just making right decisions at the moment, and there's no really right or wrong. Like you can play these hands in multiple different ways just based on your opponent. And but we have this thing, like it's really like, I feel like I've been mastering myself, that I've been doing different kind of sports, I've been doing different things, and I see what hurts me, how am I feeling physically and mentally the best when I'm playing. Like sometimes I've been training too hard doing sports, and then I'm tired for the rest of the day in a poker. So that's not good. Obviously, I done it way too much, and I changed it, that no hard training the day I'm playing very big poker games. I just do some work.
It sounds like you're saying it's really important to be aware of like what affects you and and to be aware to, well, like you said, to be honest with yourself, to not only to be honest with yourself, but put in the changes to put in your best foot forward and put in the right practices to make the best decisions. Would you say that's accurate?
Yes. Yeah, we're all different, but you really you're going to go on a journey to find out really about yourself, what works for you. Mm-hmm. What works for you, like people do all different things to get in the right state of mind. Some people don't need to sleep so much. Some people do. Some people need some kind of physical activity. Some people just meditate or read. Some people can just do all kind of stressful things and go to play, and they can be fine. We have different brains in this way, but you are getting an instant feedback every day you play. Like sometimes, everything is good, but why did you play bad? So in theory, you're one of the best players in the world. You know everything that you need to know in order to play optimal poker. And then you go and you play bad one of the days. You just made a wrong bluff at the wrong time. You just didn't feel it. You made a bad call. Then somehow you didn't pay attention, and you played some hand that got you into trouble, and you got bluffed into some spot because you were not supposed to even be in this spot. So these kind of things happen. And then you can just look into that. Why today I was playing like shit? Why? Like, what did I do? Was it that I had 2 more drinks yesterday more than I was supposed to? And then, today I was kind of feeling like worse than normal. And was it that, or was it the thing that your girlfriend was yelling at you this morning, that she just like started your day bad or something? And whatever it is, but it's all about really that how you're going to be in the poker table, feeling happy and grateful and just paying attention and just giving yourself a chance to play your best. This is so, I think poker really teaches you that you will try a lot of different things and find out what you really like and what makes you feel good. And this is really, I would say, a big part of like being successful, because there's really amazing amount of talent out there that they are just not able to play professionally because they're not able to manage themselves properly. They go and get drunk and they lose their bankroll all the time, or they play when they're in a bad state of mind in wrong games. Their ego might be so big that they just cannot be honest with themselves on their true level. So they're playing against better players all the time. And all these kind of things. Nobody's gonna know and tell you what to play and when to quit and all these things. There's so many more very important skills in poker that goes outside.
Would you say it sounds like emotional intelligence is really a big key in poker? Not only that, but also the ability to manage your money and not make just stupid decisions and this kind of thing. I'm trying to think what else.
Yeah, exactly. Like even like when you think of a lot of players who make their first like kind of bigger money that they're not used to, that's another like emotional step that a lot of people don't know how to manage money at all. When they get money, they start behaving totally different and they start spending money like they have like unlimited money and you know, like people have all kind of leaks and this happens in all kind of fields obviously, but in poker you just see the result. Also, I mean, I have to add that it's in poker you will learn that only the hard work will get you there. Only hard work. Like, do you know, I don't know one player who just got lucky that played just a little bit and just suddenly amazing talent, became a great player, and he's crushing some big games. I mean, people can go for a short, nice run, but you really have to put a lot of hard work in. But when I say hard work, I think people even that they can take it differently. That it's something hard work is something that is not, it's not fun to do. Like hard work is just that you gotta play a lot. Start playing poker. You gotta play. People don't understand how much you have to play to really get enough hands in.
That's
you are, you know.
They don't nearly understand how many hands. So easy to.
Yeah.
One thing personally I found regarding emotional intelligence and being honest with yourself is it's really easy to get swayed, and I see this all the time actually in live poker. It's really easy to get swayed by the upswings and the downswings and feel confident. I personally think that people feel confident when they shouldn't necessarily be that. It's easy to be overconfident or underconfident when you know the variance of especially live poker is really wild, and it takes a really long time to play all those hands. But you're right. I think like that's a big part of the hard work. It's not quote unquote hard all the time. I mean, there's an aspect of that too. Like if you hate studying sims, that's going to be hard, but you do have to play a lot to be successful. Yeah. That's 1,000,000% true. And every single person, no one really gets lucky and retains it, or it's very rare, unless they like won some tournaments and didn't play a ton at some point. Basically, there's no real extreme success like that.
Yeah, I mean, people, of course, in poker, people can get lucky in tournaments, like you play a satellite and then you win the whole thing, and like Chris Moneymaker, and you didn't know how to play really on a professional level. Of course, this is getting lucky, but you don't get lucky of becoming a good poker player. You know, like this you cannot get lucky suddenly, you know, with no work, playing 100,000 hands, and you're like you know, you're like.
But even like him and like Jamie Gold and these kinds of people, they lost a lot of money back. There aren't too many examples of people that did that and they realized, okay, I'm not that good, and then like stuff them away. I think there are a couple examples, but their names elude me. I mean, in that sense, poker is really cool because it's pretty representative of a meritocracy to a close degree, whereas this isn't really seen in the real world that often, I think. Maybe actually, do you think it's seen in the business world? Because, you know, as someone who's started your own business, and I want to ask a little bit more about that, what do you think about, do you think the skills of poker transition over to business, and do you think there's justice in the business world?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. That's an interesting question. I mean, in poker, you're going to learn a lot about. It's a game of people. I think you're going to see a lot of different personalities and just a lot of different behavior with people.
Uh-huh.
And and you're gonna learn kind of like different characters and so on. You get better with people for sure. For sure, you get that. But I mean, poker is. I mean, what is the really skill of poker is that you need to make decisions, and sometimes very complex decisions and big decisions under really short period of time, under like we're talking about 30 seconds or 1 minute. And this is like for very big money, can be life-changing money for some people. And you have to make that decision really fast, really quickly. So you're going to be under a lot of pressure. How clearly you can think, how clearly you can think under a lot of pressure for big money to make those decisions. This is a poker player skill. But so I see like a difference with myself, that I'm good at that. I'm good at feeling what's happening right now. I'm prepared for this moment. My opponent is betting this much. I'm just like tuned in to right now, and I have that 30 seconds to make my decision, or sometimes longer, can have a couple minutes. But I feel like in business, you can just, analyze and think about things for days or weeks or months. If you have any kind of, options, what your company is gonna do next or so on. And for me, I don't see like those are completely different kind of skills to me. But you get good with people, and I mean, obviously you get all the things, like you get that hard work, that that only hard work is what's gonna take you there, a lot of hours. But you tell me, I mean, obviously poker is a very intelligent game where you combine, mathematics, statistics, behavior, and psychology, and you have to all that put together in a game of cards, whereas emotions always there's always moving things, always different thing. Some people are winning, some losing, how much, some less, tournaments, there always things are changing. So you kind of become a master for adjusting. So I see this with poker players. It's a very good characteristic to me, that we don't worry about too much, I think, regarding like anything. You can just take an example as going for holiday. Some people stress a lot, and I feel like a lot of poker players were very good at adjusting to a lot of different situations. We're used to do that with poker. You don't get too emotionally attached when your chips go from high to low. Okay, it's a new situation. Let's just make the best out of this. Yeah, so we have this kind of. Huh? So this kind of thing, I think, is a very good.
I do think, equanimity, I think, is the word. That's something you really learn from poker, which is pretty unique in that it's kind of hard to learn that. I think it takes longer to learn business, but I'm not really sure. But there aren't so many things that you really learn that. I guess potentially sports. As it turns out, by the way, the latest consensus among experts is that sports actually, and potentially games, I guess, but I'm not sure about that, is something that impacts learning the most. Who would have thought? But I think it's for reasons such as that people learn equanimity, and just to, take what you have and do the best with it, sort of thing. So I have to ask, what inspired you to make flop? Because this seems like very different than poker. Sounds like
good question.
Well, go ahead.
Good question. Yes, actually, my very personal experiences, what I have experienced and what lots of my, I don't know, friends, colleagues that I know have been experiencing. And like, for example, it was a very big wake-up call here in Monaco for me when I know one of the largest losers in the history of online poker, and he wants to play sometimes in Cannes, some live games, and we've had even tough times with him to get games sometimes going on, because just the fact that we don't have enough players who are connected to each other. And he would call my friend, and my friend would call me, and I would call another guy and another guy, and we would try to get this game going. And the same thing in London also. He would go a couple of times just to play, and he doesn't get a game going just because there's no system. These poker rooms, they're just there waiting for players to come to play. We come at different times. We want to play different game sizes. And eventually, like, he kind of quit playing because he didn't want to drive 1 hour to Cannes and just wait if there's going to be a game or not, or if there was going to be a full game. Like, we had to organize the game with each other to get enough players to make sure we have a game going. And
but what inspired you to take this to make this app?
So I mean, I saw that it's something that we really need in everywhere around the world. We need to solve this problem one way or the other. And I mean, we don't have to solve it, but if we want to have more games and better games for everyone who wants to play, mm-hmm. that's more optimal solution. So basically this, I mean, I wasted myself probably, I don't know, thousands of hours in my life. Even have to drive sometimes over speed when I want to get the last seat on the game, or I'm just getting a message from someone that, hey, we're gonna start to play, or I'm calling a poker room. There's just a massive problem with communication, and also with the poker rooms and with the players. So what we want to do is we just want to connect players. It's a platform on our application that you will find players around you who want to play the same games. We will connect you, and it's all up to you that you can even go to play with these players, private games or in the poker room. But optimally, poker room is always the best place to play. But this is, I'm really like passionate about this in the way that this is something that also will kind of clean up a little bit poker's image to me. Like, I would like to have a better service. I would like to have a more modern technology that, wow, I have a game this evening at 8:00 that I can just go and have a dinner with my family, and at 8:00 I go. I don't have to stress and hustle and call anyone and be there early. Like, so I see this as just elevating the image of poker also. Like, you take someone who doesn't know anything about poker, you take him to a poker room somewhere, and they might be that, oh wow, this looks like a little bit like an underground thing, right? Mm-hmm. It depends on where you are in the world. Like, obviously USA has amazing card rooms with good service. There is very good things, but it's not the case in everywhere. And also for them, they have the communication problem with the players and the poker rooms and so on.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not just that. I mean, it's one step to talk about what the problems are. I'm asking, what made you decide that you were the person who was going to fix this? Let's put it that way. Or what made you decide, you know what, enough's enough. We're sorting this out, and I'm sick of these communication problems. And I don't know if that's how I would feel personally, but
yeah,
your whatever motivated you was different. That's what I'm curious. It sounds like there's many ways that this applies.
Well,
What personally motivated you? What was the impetus?
Well, I have to say there was a couple people also around me that kind of triggered my motivation. But I don't know. I had this. I still remember the moment when a lot of my kind of creative good ideas, they come right after my training for some reason. I don't know why. After I'm finished training and I'm walking home or something, I get a lot of ideas that I don't normally get. And this just came to me out of nowhere. And it came as it really stopped me with the energy that this is really needed. Like I gotta do this. Also, I know I'm good friends with the one person who's he's a CEO in one very big tech company. So I've been exchanging with him a lot regarding just IT and business and so on. And he kind of got me to think about poker, that where we are regarding the technology also back in the day. So I guess a little bit credit to him to kind of like got my mind there. But since I really I saw this problem so long already, and I didn't do anything about it. I waited so long, but now we've been 3 years developing all this, all the tools that how we can overcome this kind of problem, and now it's looking nice. But I feel like if I wouldn't do this, somebody else would have done it at some point. That's how I feel.
Okay. Well, good for you for trying. It sounds like having the right people next to you and the right creative ideas, but definitely the first steps are really the steps that people tend not to take, in my opinion. So kudos for that. I personally would have had like some kind of emotional internal outburst myself of sorts, where I just think this has to be solved. But we're all different, I guess. But definitely kudos for attempting to solve this problem. We need more people that are actually doing that. And I think that is one of the steps towards, helping the world, to be honest, to giving some kind of contribution. I believe are you also involved in charity or have some interest in that domain? Or that's what I believe is correct. I don't know too much detail about this.
Yeah, I can tell that right now I'm not involved with any charity, but I have a big place in my heart for this. And I have made a deal. I have made a deal with myself that if my company, First Land of Poker, will become a successful company, that we will be involved with charity a lot. A lot. It's something that I have made a promise to myself, and this is something that it has come to, like, for some reason I have this kind of need to fix things that I think there's problems like this.
Yeah. For 1 second, just 1 second. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, we were talking about charity, so it's.
You were saying you had a big in your heart for.
I want to be involved. I've had. When I look at my life, it's been so much going from place to place and doing things, and I never really stopped and took my time and see, like, how does this charity work and all these things, and how you can help the most, like, I don't know, efficient way. And for somehow I don't believe in, like, giving money to certain charities. Like I want to see the result, and I would like to really, I think there's been a lot of bad experiences in the past with the money not going exactly what is needed and so on.
Yeah.
And yes, there's some problems, but like, for example, I've seen that you've done amazing things, that you go by yourself all the way to the places where you're donating, helping them. And this is something I would also want to do, that I would really want to go and make sure that to see, that the money everything is going to the right things. But what I believe myself is that I just think that we just need to do our best to just provide the basic needs for everyone, everywhere. Just like, clean water, running water, education.
It's funny you mention all these things, because everything you're mentioning is exactly what I'm working on. The main focus, we're going to shift more towards education for multiple reasons, but focusing on basic needs. Also charity, charity tours, so you can tour the area and have a good experience. I forget what else you mentioned, but almost everything you mentioned was like right up my alley. And also verifying that results go to the places where they should and what's maximum impact, which is actually a really big question, by the way. But so by you starting a business, you actually do more impact than charity, as it turns out, because it's a little bit complicated, but basically people need to work for stuff beyond like certain needs and this kind of thing. And creating businesses happens to be better for the world than pure charity. It has to be strategic. So again, kudos, because there's not that many people actually doing that and taking those kinds of steps forward. And if you do get involved in these other kinds of purposes, the world and I thank you.
Yeah, I'll be really happy to be involved in the future. Hopefully we can do stuff together regarding that.
Yeah.
And just the way how I see it, like, I feel like you go too far if you trying to, like, I don't know, give people something else. Like, as long as they have the, opportunities to go further in their life, to study and work and just, have health, have all that things that, clean water and just enough food and all these things, then they're going to do what they want. But I don't believe in like doing too much things. You don't know what people want to do in different parts of the world, but they need the basic needs as a human, just to be healthy. And then they create, the life starts from there.
For sure.
They create what they want.
And definitely they need to have the right opportunities. Is there any, well, that's a bigger topic that I'll be diving in a lot on the whole, and hopefully you join me and we work together in some kind of way related to all that. But is there anything else you want to talk about before we go?
No, I'm good. I'm good. I think we covered a lot of things. Yeah, it's important for everyone who plays poker just to download our application, First Land of Poker. And why? Because all I'm asking is to download it and create an account and put your game preferences. And this is going to help us a lot. So if everyone puts their game preferences, which means that you put what games you prefer to play, if it's No Limit Hold'em or Pot Limit Omaha or something else, and also the game sizes. And now also you can put your favorite casinos or poker rooms, where you would like to play. So this helps us that we know more players around the world. So now we can connect all of us better. And it's gonna also help us to connect with the poker rooms around the world more, because it's just for us to for us to go to different geolocations, different countries, and we can show that we have this many players around. Then it's easier to work with the poker rooms with them. So we need the players. Player support is important for us, and it will always be free for the players. So we're just trying to offer you the best service we can. It's all for free, and it's a very ambitious goal what we have, but for some reason I'm really confident that it's gonna help us, all of us, and this is gonna happen. That you will be able to create your games with your friends in the poker room for today or for tomorrow, or join another game that somebody else is creating, or join a game right now that is going and you have 30 minutes time to go. But also that you will really have good experiences as a poker. Like we will also help on the part that the games will be good for everyone. We will have like a system that you can rank other players only based on like how much do you like to play with him. So if somebody is really misbehaving, for example, he will get low ranked a lot, and we won't suggest him to these games that are being created and so on. But it's really something that I believe that we will have great poker games around the world for everyone. It will happen. So just download the Flop First Land of Poker and put your game preferences, and that's all I'm asking, and that's going to help us at the moment quite a bit.
All right, guys. Patrik Antonius, one of the legends of poker and one of the biggest official winner online, and future changer of the landscape of poker, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for having me on, or thanks for being on the podcast, Patrik, and giving us your time.
Thanks, Daniel. Always a pleasure with you. See you guys.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Winning the Game of Life. Tune in next week for another great episode. Of course, hit subscribe and follow Dan on Instagram @TheDanCates.